A big round of applause for the program director of National Skill Conclave, Dr. Anju Sharma, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Labour, Skill Development and Employment Department, Government of Gujarat. A big round of applause for her, please. Also for Anil Prathamji, IPS, DGP Police Reforms, Government of Gujarat. We welcome you both. A huge round of applause for all of you, please. Hi and good morning to all of you. This is Shobhik, co-founder of APAC News Network. I welcome you all at the prestigious National Skill Conclave organized by APAC News Network and hosted by the Labour, Skill Development and Employment Department, Government of Gujarat, and co-hosted by Gujarat Skill Development Mission. So without taking much time, may I request Dr. Anju Sharma, Additional Chief Secretary, Labour, Skill and Employment Department, Government of Gujarat, to come on stage, please. A huge round of applause for her. May I request Anju ma'am? Ma'am, if you can come on stage, please. A huge round of applause for her, please. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'd also like to invite Shri Anil Pratham, IPS, DGP Police Reforms, Government of Gujarat, to come on stage, please. A huge round of applause for him as well. We have a special guest from AICTE. We have with us Professor Rajiv Kumar, Member Secretary, All India Council for Technical Education, AICTE. I request Professor Rajiv Kumar to come on stage, please. Also a special guest from National Skill Development Corporation, NSDC, the Executive Vice President Strategy, Dr. Manish Mishra. We invite Dr. Manish to come on stage, please. A huge round of applause for him as well. I request Gopi Krishna Arora, co-founder of APAC News Network, to come on stage and kindly welcome all our esteemed speakers for the inaugural session. Can we start with Dr. Anju Sharma, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Labour, Skill Development and Employment Department, Government of Gujarat, who also happens to be the program mentor of this prestigious conclave. We thank you, ma'am, for all your support and guidance for making this event a success. To Anil Pratham, DGP Police Reforms, Government of Gujarat. To Dr. Professor Rajiv Kumar from AICTE. To Dr. Manish Mishra from NSDC. And we would also like to welcome speakers who have come from various parts of the country. Can we invite Shrikant Sinha, CEO Telangana Academy for Skill and Knowledge Task, to come on stage? We want to welcome you, sir. Anju ma'am, if you can kindly hand over this plant to him as well. He's from Telangana. CEO of Telangana Academy for Skill and Knowledge. May I request Mr. K. Dinesh Kumar, Additional Director General and Executive Director, Andhra Pradesh State Skill Development Corporation, to come on stage, please. Coming because I have seen him. Okay. May I request Mr. Nikhil Dubey from MP State Electronics Development Corporation to come on stage, please. MP State Electronic Development Corporation. So, with this, we are now at the inaugural of National Skill Conclave. The tagline of this conclave is Industry 4.0, redefining education to ensure employable skilled workforce. And the theme of the inaugural session is fostering government, industry, academia collaboration conclave by lighting of the lamp, please. A huge round of applause for all of them, please.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः दीपज्योतिर्परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दन
Applause for the official inauguration of National Skill Conclave. So this conclave, we are going to touch base upon various important issues of the skill gap. We all know that we are moving fast in the digital age, but with the advancement of this time, there are a lot of new requirements which are coming, and there's a gap between the employable workforce and what are the challenges, what are the opportunities. I was reading a McKinsey report of 2021. They said that 87% of the total global workforce of total global companies think that there's a huge shortage of skilled workforce, and that is going to be increasing in coming years to come. And same with the report on 2019, where they have said that this is the time to act. This is a time to act where government, industry, academia, all stakeholders have to come together to find ways where we can build that comprehensive ecosystem, where we ensure skilled workforce ready for the digital age and also for other requirements of the industry. And they say that to create that sustainable, holistic, skilled ecosystem, all have to come together, be it government, industry, academia, industry, sector skill councils, because this is the time to act. There's no more time left to start work uh, later. So in this context, we envision to create this conference where we can have representation from government, the policymakers, the university leaders, and the most important part, industry, so that we can have divergent views that what are the challenges for government, what are the challenges for the HR professionals, what are the challenges for the sector skill council, what are the challenges for industry. And I'm sure throughout the day, if you have seen the agenda, there have been a mix and match of policymakers, uh, HR professionals, and the university professionals who have come together to discuss on various aspects of building that comprehensive skilled ecosystem. So without taking much time, I request Professor Rajiv Kumar, Member Secretary, All India Council for Technical Education, to give his special address. A huge round of applause for him, please.
Thank you. Dignitaries on the dais, of the dais. First of all, I thank the organizers for giving this opportunity to share what we are doing or what the government of India doing as far as integrating skills with the education. So I will share through this address because probably I have 5 to 10 minutes to speak. I will share the initiative taken by the government recently, most recently, with all of you. As we know, madam, that after announcement of the national education policy, implementation was the big challenge. And the government came with another framework that is known as the National Credit Framework. And that National Credit Framework empowers that every program can have 50% curriculum of skills. They can have 50% courses, up to 50% courses on skills. So that was the big change, integrating skills with the education, knowledge. And once the National Credit Framework was announced, so several universities, I know many universities, they took the advantage of the National Credit Framework and they integrated skills, not 50%, say 40%, 35% in their curriculum with the help of the industry. Then the government realized that our institutions are facing problem in implementing this national credit framework. They are looking something from the government side to implement it, although it is not required, but it is our habit to take orders from the government and then to implement. Then the government constituted one committee that is known as the core committee for implementation of the national credit framework, and the emphasis was how to integrate the skilling in the mainstream education. And that high level committee, they uh, further divided this work into three parts: one for the higher education, one for the vocational or skill education, and third one for the school education. And these three committees, the SOPs to integrate or to implement national credit framework in the education sector. Now the guidelines, SOPs, they have been finalized. I think today or tomorrow, they will be in the public domain for their comments, for the comments. So I request all of you, please read these guidelines. And these guidelines, they are not restrictive. They are enabling guidelines. Enabling guidelines mean that empowers you, whatever you want to implement in your institution, that empowers you. That's why I'm saying that these guidelines are enabling guidelines. And one of the main apprehensions of the institutions that many of the companies, edtech companies, they are providing skill-based courses, and our students presently they are doing their courses. How to integrate these courses with the university curriculum? How we can count the credits of these courses? That was the big challenge, and we have given some directions, because exact directions cannot be given. Each and every case is different in the nature. So we have given directions how to count the credits done through this in awarding the degree. As we know, this NEP allows students that they can customize our degree, they can choose the courses whatever they want. So all these flexibility we have tried to kept in these guidelines, SOPs, which are going to come into public domain tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Now, again, I am telling that universities, they have full freedom to incorporate if they have some understanding with these companies, but everything should be transparent. Transparent in the sense that it should be mentioned, defined in your website, that you are counting these credits, number of credits are this much, everything should be transparent. So transparency is the foremost criteria in implementing the national credit framework. Even when we are talking our universities, that they have big question on how to implement this multiple entry and exit. This is a big challenge in most of the universities presently. We have given some of the guidelines that you can easily implement this multiple entry and exit. And how it will be implemented, we have suggested some measures, but these measures, they are not the unique measures. You can innovate your measures on your own. These are the enabling guidelines I said in the beginning. Please go through these guidelines, implement that. In AICTE also, we have kept our approval process draft of year 24-25 in the public domain, and you might have seen, if you have seen the draft, we have opened the technical education sector in all arenas, right? In all way we have opened the technical education. So please And we have emphasized more on skills. We have asked institutions to integrate skills with your courses, and we have prepared curriculums of many of the disciplines with the help of the industries. Some of the curriculums, they are entirely framed by the industries, and we have kept on these curriculums syllabus on our website, and we are not forcing any institution to follow this curriculum in toto, right? This is the model curriculum. They can modify these model curriculum as per their the requirement, as per the expertise of the institute, or as per the local needs of that area. So these all measures they we have taken, and I hope collaboration and final recommendation will request the share with us. When you compile the report, you share the report. We'll also read that report, and whenever we revise our policy, because we are revising policies frequently, things are changing very rapidly. So we will definitely incorporate the suggestion which you will take in this. I once again thanks the organizers inviting me, giving me opportunity to share the views what we are doing at uh, uh, Government of India side, AICT side. Thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai.
Thank you so much, Professor Rajiv Kumar. We'll be surely sharing the outcome of this conference in a document, through a document, event report, with you, with all the action can be taken in the future based on this discussion of today's event. And as you have rightly said, that AICT is coming up with some SOPs which will be there tomorrow or day after, and how AICT is trying to help universities and others in terms of curricula for that skilled work, to ensure that skilled workforce. Thank you. From AICT, let's move our focus to NSDC, one of the important stakeholders of this entire skill development ecosystem. We have with us Dr. Manish Mishra, Executive Vice President Strategy from NSDC. Let's hear him out. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, and thanks to the organizers for having me. Um, I think the topic for this conclave couldn't have been more apt. And we recently handed over our G20 presidentship now to uh, Brazil, and what we have done over last 1 year in terms of deliberating upon various aspects of education and skilling that needs to be looked at in order to make sure that we prepare the workforce which is industry ready. Uh, and it has also come in form of the final declaration, and also the education working group has come up with its own report, which is worth a read, because it talks about the efforts that are being made at the OECD member countries level to understand as to what is being done. And there's plenty that is being done, but there's a lot that needs to be done. Just to understand the challenge uh, that this whole industry 4.0, or for the matter, this AI and this modern critical and frontier technologies present before us. There's a PIAC survey that OECD does uh, frequently at the OECD level. It says that 70% of the workforce across the OECD country level, it does use literacy skills to discharge their day-to-day work. And what they're telling you, that only a quarter of that workforce is actually better in terms of using literacy skills than the AI of today. And AI is very recent emergence. We have actually started seeing applications of AI very, very recently. ChatGPT barely came about a year. I mean, November 2022 is when it actually, the commercial version was launched. And one is seeing the kind of adoption of chat GPT, and one can imagine as to what might happen if we don't really train the workforce to meet the challenges of all these emerging technologies. So when Sundar Pichai says that the humanity has probably never seen something like or never dealt with something like AI and all these modern technologies before, is absolutely right. And therefore, what we need to possibly do has to be very different from the way possibly we have been handling such challenges in the past. So there's hardly anything to guide us as to what we should possibly do. Uh, just to give it a structure, maybe I thought um, how can this academia, industry, and governments come together in order to meet this challenge and deal with it and also prepare our workforce effectively in this situation that we are in? I thought there are four things that possibly need to be looked at. One is this policy, and thanks to Professor Rajiv Kumar, he talked about this policy framework of NEP, which actually gives you a very robust framework wherein various actors can come together. National Credit Framework has also come in to operationalize this whole NEP. Now we are seeing spurt of efforts like NHEQF and National Curriculum Framework and Credit and Curriculum Framework uh, that has been published and is right now in public domain for people to comment upon for UG and PG. So that is happening on the policy front. The whole governance front, wherein you need possibly to have programmatic interventions that prepare people, and one should actually start with something like uh, pre-secondary education itself, because you're talking about a country like India where the outcomes of education need to be much better than what it is right now. There's a lot of effort that is being put in. Place Gujarat in particular is doing a lot of work, and this whole Vidya Samiksha thing that one had seen quite a few months ago, that was a fantastic work that was being in that direction. And this Samagra Shiksha, the way it has been revamped and being taken to the schools, I think, is also a very important step in that direction. What possibly needs to be done more is in the area of the post-secondary education, where the skills need to come up in a big way and a more institutionalized way. And I'm sure AICT is doing a lot of work there. We're talking about stitching together curriculum along with the industry and giving a lot of flexibility to the institutions to stitch up programs that are actually in the rooted in the reality of the industry and business today. Um, uh, I think it will take some time, but our institutions would, given the kind of regulatory framework and the guidance that is coming from all the way up, and also the kind of work that is being done in this area, would actually help institutions build things that are actually in the right direction. The second thing that I wanted to talk about is research, and that probably is very, very critical. And uh, we actually got to know about various initiatives that are being taken all around the world. For example, in Australia, you are seeing some 6 trailblazer universities that are coming together, pooling the resources in order to create a body of research that can be used by the institutions to stitch together the programs. And that is actually being done in the active collaboration with the industry. Singapore, again, presents a very good example where you're talking about, they're saying that the entire economy can actually be looked at in 3 buckets, wherein you have a care, digital, and green economies. But they're saying they're not only verticals, they're also horizontal. So all the 3 actually need to be taught as part of every single program, right? So you look at them as various industry verticals, but this also constitutes a horizontal, and the curriculum is actually being drawn up in such a manner in order to do this. So while we're talking about technology and preparing the workforce for the future, for this technology, we also cannot keep our eyes away from this whole climate thing that we are talking about. So this also needs to be uh, 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 made part of every single curriculum is what the need of the hour is. In addition to this, what also needs to be done is the kind of work that many of these non-government organizations are doing. So while we are talking about, on one hand, creating a huge public digital infrastructure in order to make learning available and at people's disposal, they can actually learn wherever they are. At NSDC, we have put together a massive platform called Skill India Digital, and that is putting together a variety of content from all across to enable the learning, and you can actually learn at your convenience wherever you are. But at the same time, a lot also needs to be done in collaboration with a lot of other institutions that are working at the ground level, right? So their experience needs to be leveraged. There's quite a few organizations that are working in this area. Cavalier Education is one. Piramal is doing quite handy work in this direction. There's certain institutions that are working in the higher education space also, which need to be leveraged. And this whole offline, online has also got to come together, and there has to be somebody who needs to hold this all together in order to make it work better. Government of India's initiatives in this area of like Yuva AI and some of the other work that Government of India is doing in order to make this research uh, uh, based in the reality of the industry is also very praiseworthy. But I think this research needs to actually transcend boundaries. The challenge is so such that no country alone can actually handle this, and therefore a lot of effort at the level of various fora need to be taken up, and this has been the spirit of the leaders' declaration also at the G20, when we are saying that we need to pool resources. We have made a beginning by saying that we will identify the skill gap at the G20 level and also try and understand as to what we can possibly learn from each other in order to put together the knowledge that has been gathered separately by all the member countries. And that kind of effort is actually, so in that context, I would say that it's not only about one government, it's about multiple governments coming together and pooling the resources and knowledge, etc., in order to create a body of knowledge that everybody can benefit from. The third and very important aspect is that of financing. So who does it? Governments are putting in a lot of investment, yes. AICT, as Professor Rajiv Kumar said, and for the matter, some of the other parts of the government are also doing their bit in order to create these public digital infrastructures, create these ecosystems, building capacity of the institutions, etc. Everything is being taken care. But the private sector resources also need to come in a big way. As far as the financing part is concerned, we need to create models. There are now, thankfully, and with NSDC, I can talk about the skill impact bond that we are doing, and we have brought in a lot of private sector investment in order to create an outcome-based training program in some of the priority areas. I think there's just one step in that direction. With social stock exchanges coming in, a lot of private sector money now being available for all these purposes, we need to create a framework through which the private sector participation can also be very active, and they can also uh, uh, participate in this massive initiative of skilling people for the needs of the future. Uh, so that is one prescription that I have in mind, and I'm sure these are early days, and a lot of these models will expand and evolve, and you would in future see that the private and public sector, given the kind of regulatory framework that we now have, and the facilitative role that the government is now playing, coming together and working cohesively in order to take on this challenge in a massive way. So with this, I will pause and let's put together our brains to finding solutions for this future, because this challenge is massive, and we need to work together, think together, and act together in order to take on this challenge in a manner in which it will be better for all of us to take this the whole agenda of making or creating India a $5 trillion economy and way beyond that. So yeah, so the challenge is massive, but at the same time, I think we all have the capability to ensure that we sail through. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Manish Mishra from NSDC. Yes, challenges. There are challenges, huge challenges, but it reminds me of what Honorable Prime Minister says that let's see our challenges as an opportunity. That day I was having a discussion with the former Defense Secretary, Government of India. He was telling us that people are talking about how AI is going to take all the jobs, but treat it as an opportunity because AI, uh, the 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 advancement of AI, and if we can produce or deliver the skilled AI workforce, not only for India, for globally, it can be India's, again, what India has done for fintech, for global condition. AI can be the same thing for India, not only providing skilled workforce for India, but globally. India can leapfrog in that. So maybe we can see challenges and opportunities and work in that way. Thank you, Dr. Manish Mishra, for sharing with us your thoughts. We have a special address by Anil Pratham, IPS DGP Police Reforms, Government of Gujarat. Let's hear some interesting aspect from him because I know he was telling me other day some interesting fact what he wants to do for the police force of Gujarat. Let's big round of applause for him. It's also a special day. I request Anju ma'am when she delivers a speech, she can announce why it is special for Dr. Anil Pratham as well. Over to you, sir.
Madam Anju Sharma ji, ACS Labor and Skill, Shri Rajiv ji from AICT, Shri Manish ji from National Skill Development Corporation, all APAC team and all the participants. Today, you might be wondering that Dutch skill has something to do with police officers or policing. But I can say that police department and role of police officials is very much related to today's topic. You know, police is considered as a force by the general public. But in fact, it is not a force, it is a service. It is a service to the citizens of India, citizens of Gujarat. So Gujarat government had initiated one project which I would like to mention and which I am heading. It is called Suraksha Setu project. In other words, in other states, it is also called community policing or say citizen charter in other aspects. So in Gujarat, the only purpose of this Suraksha Setu society is how we can connect with the general public. General public means children, youth, women, senior citizens, which include all these things. And can we have something positive from these sectors, especially about policing, about its working, about its delivery, what we are supposed to do? So that is what we are supposed to monitor, observe, experiment, and say network with all the stakeholders who can help us in these objectives. This society has certain objectives, and it has focused on certain activities. I will just mention two or three activities which is relevant to today's topic. One of the focus is that we also believe that capacity building should be done and how we can help in this thing. Secondly, we deal with the tension in the mind of students, especially of 10th or 12th board examination, how to tackle that mental stress. We trying to help them, guide them with our helplines or other way. And thirdly, how to rehabilitate the women in crimes. So that is why another thing. So if we see in all these three activities I have told, we need the role of, we need skills, we need counseling for these people that they can overcome their fear, their perception, and how we can help. And finally, our charter of Suraksha Setu Society is that we should coordinate with, when I say stakeholders, the stakeholders mean any company, any bank, any NGO, any alert citizen, and dealing administrative departments like labor department, education department, science and technology department, social justice department. So they are the general home department, we had it. So they are the department which also deal with lot of people of all type, students, underprivileged. If we say industry department, we are dealing with all such companies and industries. So we try to focus to coordinate with different stakeholders and ensure that peace and safety is maintained in the state. And you know, peace and state is directly related with the skill beneficiaries, with with labor organization, with the industries where labor is employed. Are they employable, as we are saying? Are we exploiting them? Are we underutilizing them? These are the concepts we can say. So many times, time, energy, and resources of the police department are, I, I will not say that wasted, but are invested or used on, say, strike, labor strike, or say unrest of students, unrest of teachers, unrest of employees. There are many sectors. They all related with something which brings police into the picture, brings them into the field, brings them to the campuses. Even if income tax department is going to raid, organize search operation, police is there. In case of insolvency and bankruptcy, when insolvent professional try to confiscate the properties, we are there. So we are there not for our main job, but we are there for the side effects of various economic activities, business activities, labor activities. So we find almost everywhere, even in Bandobast. So we try to see that all stakeholders whom we interact due to certain regions, various regions, can we make them our ambassadors? our supporters, our informers who can help us. And in this way, we not only understand the problems in society, we also come to know that how this can be done. And if we share those information, those inputs to the concerned administrative departments, they may use it, they use it as real feedback from the ground. So I think in this way, police can be used in all the sectors which are involved regarding skill. I think this is what I have to say, because even police department, if you say of Gujarat, only police is about 1 lakh population. 1 lakh means they are, can we classify them as a skilled labor? How can we use it? How their productivity can also be increased. So we do take help of the professionals institutions. So I think this is what I will say, that for safe business activities, for safe smoothing of the studies at campuses, at universities, we should work in coordination, and police should be utilized for this thing to achieve the objective of the making youth employable. We see a lot of issues, like recently Honorable CM had issued a scheme. It is called community scheme. It is called Tran વાત Tamari and Tran વાત Amari. Means we hold the meetings at village level, at taluka level, at outpost level, and ask their 3 burning or top agendas which they feel should be addressed. Like it can be education, it can be unemployment, it can be safety or anything. And we try to solve them. Simultaneously, we also say our 3 agendas or 3 action points which we expect from them. So in that way, community bonding is made. We are trying to solve their problems, and we are taking help of them to help us that policing is done in an effective way, in a peaceful way, and they act as responsible citizen, law-abiding citizen. I think this is general. I just wanted to say. I don't know how much it is relevant, but this is how we should work. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sri Anil Pratham, DGP Police Reforms, Government of Gujarat. As I've rightly said, that a workforce of more than a lakh Gujarat Police, and it's all about enhancing their skill also with the time, and addressing the need of the time, so that this police workforce can also be skilled and ready for the challenges of the new age, and they can be utilized in various aspects of community building as well. So without taking much time, now let me invite the program mentor and the guest of honor for this conference, Dr. Anju Sharma, IAS, Additional Chief Secretary, Labor Skill Development and Employment Department, Government of Gujarat, for her guest of honor address. A huge round of applause for him. Over to you, ma'am.
Good morning. My colleague from the police services, Shri Anil Prathamji, Director General, and Manish ji, Rajiv ji, all the eminent dignitaries here, guest speakers. The purpose of this seminar and why we were interested in this seminar when they brought us a proposal was to sensitize the education, especially the higher education community of Gujarat, to the importance of integrating skills into educational framework. And as Rajivji very clearly mentioned, that at the level of Government of India, at the level of the regulatory institutions, a lot of things have been done. But somehow these things are not seeing the light of the day because of various things. For every learning, there has to be unlearning. That unlearning is not coming very easily. That's number one. And number two is that our system is molded into a definite shape. So it's like a matka, a matla of a particular shape. It's not a kachi matti that you can shape it. So you have to break it. And this was one revolution that we brought in the education system, higher education system of Gujarat way back in 2017. All of you would recall when we had started the startup revolution. In 2017, it was a big challenge when I first held the seminar for student startup and innovation policy with similar set of friends, of course, not the same people, but similar institutions and similar dignitaries from the institutions. Mr. Avasthi is here. And it was difficult because the way people were talking, they were not able to understand startup and innovation. And at one point, after giving that startup and innovation policy, and we were very early starters at that time, we certainly in the first seminar, I was like drawing cold feet. What have I started? I don't know whether the system will be able to absorb it or not. But then we pulled up our socks, tightened our belts, and started it. And now, 5-6 years hence, we've come up with SSIP2, and it has become a case for all others to emulate. All credit goes to all these people. They owned it, they did it, and they showed it that it can be done in the colleges, universities, and every university now has a startup ecosystem. It has startups, it has incubators and pre-incubation facilities, and so on and so forth. So this is a similar kind of revolution that we have to embark upon. When we talk of startup, when we talk of bringing change, we talk of disruption. So this disruption is very essential. Till the time we don't take up this disruption, things are not going to work out. We set up Kaushalya Skill University to create an example that this can be done. And of course, it was started earlier than they came with National Credit Framework. And I would like to tell you that just after the National Credit Framework was announced, before that, the CBCS framework was announced by UGC. And when CBCS framework was announced by UGC, and by that time we had already started KSU, and we had already implemented the new CBS framework and designed our own framework for the university. Of course, your common credit framework came very late, the general one, but we had designed it. And we had also at the same time started integrating and affiliating the industry institute. So when Mr. Pradhan visited IAS, that was, I think, 1.5 years back or so, he was like quite impressed with this kind of integration. Mr. Kalsi was also there, your secretary was also there. And he said, let's do it at the national level. And after that, work on National Credit Framework started, and the National Credit Framework came up. And you will be pleased to know that we have in Kaushalya Skill University implemented the National Credit Framework in totality. And the new CBCS framework also in totality. Those of you who would like to see that, who would like to learn from that, are most welcome to do that. How the multiple entry and exit would take place, how diploma and degree equivalences will be there, and all these things have been laid down very clearly in the framework and the matrix that we have worked out in line with the national credit framework and this thing. So the idea, the central idea of the whole thing is why we are doing it. My partner and stakeholder, and of course, Mr. Mattu will be making a, why I'm saying partner, because he's a partner of KSU. So, not my partner. They are there, ArcelorMittal. And they were the first, amongst the first, to combine hands with us and work out this unique model. And he'll be making a presentation on this, how it is possible, how we did BSc, how we are doing two very important courses, BSc in steel technology and BSc in green and renewable energy. Now, that apart, I was talking why. So why also he will tell, because every time he complains to me, Madam, I don't have students to employ. I don't have candidates. Please give me permission to go outside the state. And as Secretary Employment, as Additional Chief Secretary Employment, I tell him, no, you first, because we have this 80-20 rule, so you first deplete my candidates and then then we'll think later. So this year also he came up with this request, same request. I want 1,100 candidates and all my lists are depleted. So then I spoke to several private universities also. I spoke to GTU also. I gave them a full set of candidate list, and I don't know how many of those they hired. That will be a different, that of course he only will be able to tell, quite a few. So the point is, what industry is wanting and what you are producing is a huge gap. There's a huge demand and supply gap. Industry will not listen to you. Industry cannot modify your requirement, their requirement to the produce that you make. एक घर में पूरी सब्जी बनेगी और उसको चावल चाहिए तो आप फिर भी उसके मुंह में डाल दोगे, भाई आज इससे काम चला ले. बट इंडस्ट्री ऐसा नहीं कर सकता है, बिकॉज पूरी सब्जी बनाए तो शाम को बीमार हो जाएगा, वो तो खा ही नहीं सकता है, वो बीमार है, उसको खिचड़ी चाहिए. अब आप पूरी सब्जी बना के दे रहे हो, उसको खिचड़ी चाहिए, नहीं दोगे तो शाम तक इंडस्ट्री सिक हो जाएगी. तो इंडस्ट्री को तो खिचड़ी चाहिए. आप यदि खिचड़ी नहीं बनाओगे, वो प्रॉब्लम आपका है हु इज कुकिंग, दैट दे हैव टू मेक खिचड़ी. वो उसकी जो रिक्वायरमेंट है वो मॉडिफाई नहीं कर सकता, बिकॉज दे कांट ईट की पूरी सब्जी, उसका सिस्टम ही उसके सूटेबल नहीं है. सो इंडस्ट्री का जो रिक्वायरमेंट है, द नीड ऑफ द इंडस्ट्री इज गिवन. दे कांट मॉडिफाई इट because they have certain product line, they have certain assembly line, they have certain services that they have to produce and that they have to deliver. And for that, they require a certain skill set. They don't require education set. They require skill set. And the problem with them, and of course that also I'm changing a lot by hammering them into their head, that don't link skill set to degree. And that most of them are now changing, delinking skills to degree, and because they are also realizing that someone who has degree may or may not have skills, but someone who has skills may or may not have degree. हमारा काम चल जाएगा. तो अब आपको सोचना है कि जब इंडस्ट्री को खिचड़ी चाहिए तो आप पूरी सब्जी निकालोगे and you will dump it in the market, or you will modify yourself to produce that khichdi. That you have to decide. That educational institutions will have to decide, because it is do or die. And Because of this only, AICT is here, all the educational institutions are here. You are facing a situation today that 60% of your degree, B.Tech and B positions are vacant in your colleges. Why? Because students don't want to go there. Industry doesn't want them. You are very happy because you want your institution to have B Tech. हम engineering college चलाते हैं, engineering university चलाते हैं. No. Industry wants skills, so better to offer diplomas. And I think one suggestion that I would like to make, actually I have two suggestions to make. First suggestion that I will give to AICT and to all of you. Convert your vacant seats of degree into diploma, as the ACS employment here, who is very, very closely in touch with the industry on a day-to-day basis, I can vouch for it, they want diplomas more than degrees. And please, we have a shortage of diploma holders in technical programs. Produce more of diplomas, less of degrees, and improve the quality of your diploma. Improve the quality of your diploma. So AICT should also try to see that they are facilitated into it. The movement from degree to diploma is facilitated. That's one request. The second thing, we are talking of Industry 4.0. None of you have mentioned Industry 4.0 in whatever we have discussed so far. In fact, in most of their topics also, in the title they have given Industry 4.0, but in today's discussion, I didn't see much of Industry 4.0 in all the topics for discussion. What is Industry 4.0? Industry 4.0, as you all know, it comprises a set of latest functioning of the industry, which is totally smart, automated, and functions through emerging technologies like AI, machine learning, smart workplaces, IoT, as a result of which the workplace, the nature of the workplace is changing. Industry is doing it, nations are adopting it because it gives better productivity, it gives better performance, and it gives cleaner workplaces, more precise products, better quality. So they have to do it. In fact, some countries have taken up this initiative even in their MSMEs, and very recently we had a discussion at a very high level in which 4 departments of Government of India were present, that we have to now lay down a roadmap for transition into Industry 4.0 even for MSME. So gradually Industry 4.0 is going to be there fully. It's right now knocking at our doors, knocking or made an entry, especially in the mega enterprises. But in this MSME also, it is coming up very fast. So how is it going to change the skills requirement, the skill sets? You will understand that Industry 4.0 depends very heavily on emerging technologies, especially the IT and computer science. And what would be required will be people sitting in front of control rooms and dashboards, managing the entire factory, rather than a person. So we imagine the traditional factory so way back when I had seen 20 years back, a steel rolling factory, it was workers in lines watching it, what is happening, moving with hand and all that. And very recently I visited ArcelorMittal. There is a control tower, a person is sitting there. The system is totally operational. They keep on watching on the monitor what is happening to each and everything. So that's how the units are being done. I would make a very, very humble request to you all. Please, how many of you have seen a smart factory? Please raise your hand. No, not from the industry, from the academia. So that shows what we are missing. Please go and see what an Industry 4.0 workplace looks like. That will help you redefine, redesign, and rework out your courses. Because this country would require, all of us, this state would require a huge workforce of people who know how to operate smart machines, how to sit on the dashboard and on the monitor and run a machine from there, and also a lot of maintenance, a lot of utilization of automated products, and the more advanced manufacturing technologies. So it's not that mechanical is out, mechanical is getting modified. It's not that civil is out, civil is getting modified. So instead of working on a lathe machine, you have to teach him how to operate a CNC or a vertical machining. Instead of, so the things have to change. Think, आप उसको घिसना सिखा रहे हो कैसे फिटर में वो घिसना सिखाता है वो घिस घिस के लेवल चेक करो आते 5 साल बाद कितनी फैक्ट्रीज में घिसने वाला सिस्टम रहेगा there is a machine which will do it and you just have to see the precision and the requirements on the monitor. So things have to change. So please visit industries, please see what is happening in the industry and make very, very frequent amendments. So when we were working out the manuals for KSU, we put something over there that every syllabus has to be modified every year. Because you are continuing syllabi from so many years and whenever you make changes, we make very incremental changes. 2 line यहाँ बदल दिया, 2 line वहाँ बदल दिया, 3 line वहाँ बदल दिया. That also doesn't, when it comes to actual delivery of the content, that doesn't change. Why? Because we have our people who are trained into these traditional things. They themselves don't know. They themselves don't know. And I'm telling you, I have conducted several interviews in various disciplines for KSU. People don't know about modern technology, including the best of the people from many of your private universities into mechanical, in computer sciences, in finance. They don't know. They don't know much. In fact, some of the times I really put my head down. I said, like, what is the status? I have interviewed many professors also from, not only assistant professors, but professors also. They don't know. They themselves they don't know, so how are they going to teach? So a lot of emphasis on building up the capacities of the teachers, of the faculty. And I think this is second request, is that AICT should make it mandatory for them to take up the faculty development programs connecting to industry 4.0 or to the modern technologies, whatever may be there. So that should be a mandatory requirement when next time, so you revalidate your affiliation for permissions every year. So at that time, you should see whether they've done it or not. And how many people are trained into these, because it's all the same rut continuing from year to year. This was the second point, and I have another request. Actually, this one came in between. The third one. Now, I'm really, really grateful that, in fact, I myself didn't know that AICT has adopted NCRF, and AICT has very beautifully done it. After I heard what you spoke, I went on the internet and saw that entire thing. So what you have written there is yet to percolate down and to be implemented. So it takes time. I remember when AICT for the first time in 2019 came up with that subject wala change or any of these 12 subjects. And I had drafted the new ACPC Act and the new ACPC rules at that time. Amended the Act also and redrafted the rules. So in that, even I was having reservation. Any vacation, how can you make it so loose? But then said, no, nothing like this. You have to make it as per AICT. So things have to change. And it's good that you are very proactive. Now, I'm really, really very happy to see that something that we are doing in KSU, you have already cleared our way for that. In fact, we were starting it by the name of Higher Secondary Diploma in Computer Application. And we wanted to make it equivalent to 2-year program so that students could enter BCA program. BCA, that was my target. Because of the Industry 4.0 requirements, we wanted a heavy dose of computer system, people who could handle technology, computers especially. With this, when I read it, I realized that now you have opened DVOC, this 2-year program for computer science for entry into BE BTech Computer Science and IT, which is amazing. And I immediately gave a direction, instead of higher secondary diploma, make it DVOC. So we will start DVOC. And I also sent a message to our Commissioner Technical Education, please make necessary changes in the rules so that these DVOC students, after 2 years, they could get into engineering institutions, engineering colleges. So that has to come, and that you have to impress upon states to make necessary changes in the rules. Because change in the rules will be required for that. Like state like Gujarat, we have a centralized system, as you may be aware, for engineering and technology admissions. So a change will be required there. But you have to see that states take place. Because see, today when I have to promise a DVOC student that you will get an engineering admission, I am pressing from my side, but AICT will be more effective. So that student should be sure that after 2 years, when I'm through with DVOC, I will be getting. So you just see how all these people start DVOC program. And that will be a major difference, and that will be a great relief to Mr. Mattu from ArcelorMittal sitting over there. What, am I right? That will be a great relief to JCB Industries who say, Madam, Copa ka student de do, humko unko job dena. So a lot of industry. That will be a great relief to them. They are wanting these students. So I'm sure if you impress upon them in these 2-3 months, when we have the intake for the next year, because we'll have to tell them that there is a guideline for this. And it will take off very fast. So this is a very important request that you'll have to do. Of course, I'm requesting state government also, and I'll send a formal note. I'll try to see from my side, but from your side, and it will be a uniformity in the entire country. So from your side also, you could start DVOC programs, because as GCVT, as NCVT, they can only run certificate programs, they cannot run diploma programs. So only universities can give diplomas. That's why we have started KSU to give handover diplomas. So you could start all these DVOC programs after 10th. That will be a great help to the state and to the country as a whole. Now another 4th request is coming. The 4th request is that when we sit with our people designing their courses, a very important area of concern that is emerging, and that if you see the NCRF very carefully, 2-year diploma, okay, we give diploma. 2-year, we give diploma. Sorry? After 12th. After 12th or after 10th, even DVOC is 2 years. And it's equivalent to, you give entry into 1st year engineering. Okay? That's fine. So 2-year D2D, student gets into 1st year of engineering. 3-year D2D, students get into 2nd year. But the entire program is of 4 years. Now, If you see this part, you leave. You see the other part of it. Undergraduate diplomas, 2 year in flexible entry and exit. 1 year certificate, 2 year diploma, 3 year degree. After 12th. So that doesn't match. If you can do some tweaking and make this 10 plus diploma 3 years, then it will help a lot. Then students who have completed their 3 year program, 3 year diploma, we can give them directly admission into second year of MSc. So they don't miss on their diploma. They will still have the diploma plus graduation. Okay, so right now, for example, we are doing it for BSc Steel Technology. For BSc Steel Technology, students come with 4 year of diploma, and then they take 2 year, 2 year study, 2 year more to get BSc in Steel Technology. But if you make it 3 year, then they will still have the diploma. 3 plus 2 will make it 5 years. So you could consider probably that this is a slight anomaly that is remaining and that you could iron out. So another thing that I wanted to highlight was that KSU has started. Gargi Jain is there. She is director of employment and training. We have an institution called GSDM, Gujarat Skill Development Mission. We also have Gujarat Council of Vocational Training, GCVT, and KSU. We together are running the entire setup is running more than maybe 300 courses, more than 300 various types of programs that are targeted towards building up skills, including reskilling and upskilling. And a large number of these programs are at the level of 4+, that is NSQF level 4+. And firstly, please, in your universities, have one person who is a skill coordinator who understands what is NSQF. Because I know as higher education secretary, I never knew what NSQF was. Unless and until you know what NSQF, you will not be able to understand this entire system and this entire game of skill plus education, skill and education. So there should be at least one person in the university as the skill coordinator. And if you want, all these people can meet at intervals at the level of, under the chairmanship of our university's chief skill coordinator, who's a very experienced person into skills. And he works as chief skill coordinator. And he has dealt with, he's been in the DT also for a large number of years, very experienced and qualified person. Mr. Mistry is there. Is he around? Ha. He's there. And I will also ask him to speak for some time, give him 10 minutes. He will be able to tell about all these things that all these people can bring together. So bring that element, and we have a credit transfer agreement with some of the universities, but that has not yet been materialized. From our side, we have for each of these courses, we have finalized academic credits. But your academic council has to ratify them, has to accept them, so that when students take up these courses, many of these courses are self-paced courses. So students can take up these courses on their own, and they can also, in their free time, outside their outside their learning hours, in the vacations or these things, things like that. So we are also starting a large number of courses in drones, a large number of courses into machine learning, cloud have already been started, a lot of courses into robotics also, additives also, huge bouquet of courses. So because that's what our work, and we are doing that. Please take benefit of that, and please allow your students to take benefit of that. KSU is also a university very much regulated by UGC. So we have, on the basis of UGC regulations And we have identified credits, academic credits for each of these skill programs. And these credits you could automatically transfer. So first, we should start with universities who already have this arrangement. GTU and Marwadi and many of them have it. So they could start first, and those who have not yet done, they could follow up later. First, see how these people are doing. And at any time, if you want to sign a credit transfer MOU, you are most welcome to do that. But please be ready to implement it. Because now, after seeing the experience of all the 5-6 universities, rather more than that, 10-12 industries who just signed the MOUs for the sake of, madam ne kaha hai to sign karna hai, that's not enough. So I am not encouraging any of the universities to just sign the MOU for the sake of signing the MOU. Please implement that MOU and take the benefit of courses. Most of the, because it's a state government, it's a state university, most of that it is run on a slightly cost plus basis. And we have tried to reduce the course of drone flying, which is being run in private institutions at the cost of 60,000. We are doing it at only 15,000. Because we have not been brought into, KSU has not been brought into, or we as a DT, we have the mandate to skill Gujarat. We don't have the mandate to earn revenue. Government keeps on giving us money. So this is our mandate to help you all, to help the entire ecosystem of Gujarat to take this entire skill mission at a very high trajectory. So we want to work, all of us, let's work together. And I especially feel very at home with you people because of my previous connection with you people for 5 years. And I feel very at home, very, very much at home. So let's come together the way we have come together today, but still we need more of interactions and work together in integrating skills and actually working towards this, redefining education to ensure employable and skilled workforce, or rather employable, skilled and educated youth. Thank you very much. Thanks for patience.
I think the round of the applause actually signifies how important points you have raised today, ma'am. The first 5 suggestions, it's of utmost importance. You talked about an anecdote of Khichdi and Charles Dowell. It reminds me of one more example, that you can have Rinku Singh to play between 16 to 20 overs. You cannot have a test opener to play 16 to 20 overs in a T20. That is the need of the hour, that universities and industry all have to come together uh, to address the challenges of industry, that what kind of skilled workforce they need. They need a Rinku Singh for 16 to 20 overs. They don't need a test opener. And accordingly, universities have to mold their mindset and the curricula so that we can build that comprehensive skill ecosystem. And the wonderful thing done by the Gujarat in terms of skill development. And also, earlier, Avtar, you talked about 2017. I was part of that conference, that startup conference. I think that was a genesis, and till now, Gujarat has come a long way. And we have other states also today with us. We can also have their best practices today, hear from them, and we can all learn and unlearn also to go into the right direction. Thank you so much, ma'am. And all our esteemed speakers who were the part of the inaugural session of National Skill Conclave. Can we have a huge round of applause for all of them, please? Ma'am, we missed to welcome Mr. K. Dinesh Kumar. He's the Executive Director, Andhra Pradesh State Skill Development Corporation. He's here with us. If you can kindly welcome him officially in the state of Gujarat. Can you have a planter on stage? To stage, please. Thank you so much. I request Mr. Gopi Krishna to come on stage and kindly hand over a small token of appreciation from our end to all our speakers. part of the National Skill Conclave. We can start with Professor Rajiv Kumar, Member Secretary, All India Council for Technical Education. A huge round of applause for him, please. Dr. Manish Mishra, Executive Vice President, Strategy, National Skill Development Corporation. To Shri Anil Pratham, IPS DGP Police Reform Government of Gujarat. And to our program mentor and the guest of honor, Dr. Anju Sharma, IAS Additional Chief Secretary, Labour Skill Development and Employment Department, Government of Gujarat. A huge round of applause for her, please. May I also request Rajan Bahadur, CEO, Tourism Hospitality Skill Council, and Mr. S.K. Bose, CEO, Hydrocarbon Sector Skill Council, to come on stage, please. And also Mr. Srikant Sina from Task and K. Dinesh Kumar and Nikhil Dubey. If we can all join us for a group photo. You can come on stage, please. Fast, please. Yeah, we'll have this group photo. All our brilliant speakers. Yes, also Gargi Jain, Mission Director, Gujarat Skill Development. Also Gopi. So before we conclude the inaugural session officially, I'll request Dr. Anju Sharma to hand over a special thing to Dr. Mr. Anil Pratham. We came to know that this is his last day as a DGP Police Reform. He's retiring today. This is a small token of gift from our end to Anil Pratham ji. He had a great career. We thank you, sir, for serving the country and this administration. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know how many of you know, but me and Mr. Pratham worked very closely in 2014-15. No, 2013. That was 2012-13 and 2013-14 on the 181 Abhiyam helpline. And January 2014, for the first time in the country, 181 Abhiyam helpline was launched by, I was Secretary WCT at that time, and Mr. Pratham was very much there on my side along with this to fine-tune the entire thing. It was a tripartite arrangement between Home, WCT and EMRI. And all the support that we received from him and his sensitivity towards the issue has helped Abhiyam become what it has become now and right from the very beginning. So we must give him a very strong round of applause for that. And he has worked a lot in the area of women's security and safety for a very long duration. Thank you.
A small request, we want to felicitate two leading universities of Gujarat in your presence. Let me invite Mr. Naresh Jadeja, Registrar of Marwari University, to come on stage, please. Please make it fast because we're running late. We have many more sessions. A huge round round of applause for Marwari University team. Anju ma'am and Harit Pratham ji, jointly can give this certificate for them, please. We also would like to facilitate Anand National University, and we have with us Dr. Anunaya Chaube, Provost of the university. So I request Dr. Anunaya Chaube to come on stage, please. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all of you. That is the end of the inaugural session of National Skill Conclave, organized by APAC News Network and hosted by Labour Skill Development and Employment Department, Government of Gujarat, and co-hosted by Gujarat Skill Development Mission. We again thank Dr. Anju Sharma, Mr. Anil Pratham, Professor Rajiv Kumar, and Dr. Manish Mishra. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today and also guiding us to make this event successful. And I'm sure the deliberations which will be made throughout the day today will have some importance to create the blueprint for a comprehensive skill ecosystem planning. With this, we move on to the next session. We have 3 presentations. I would request speakers to kindly keep your presentations within